We get to realize that Kidan saw June being taken, and she was taken on their 18th birthday. And she calls Dean Ferris and says, hey, I'll go to the school. You just got to get me a good lawyer. Her trial is in 8 months. Kidan is smarter than she lets on, but she does not think before she does things. Mentions that Kidan sees death and destruction as absolution. She keeps repeating this phrase, all evil must die. She keeps replaying these videos of June. June does like vlogs. I told you in my last video about the bird team. She leaves that meeting, Yos. She does not know it's Yos. He knows it's her though. She leaves that meeting after spitting at that man's feet. Dean Ferris takes her to her house. She explains the houses and how they work and, you know, the house rules and stuff. Kidan is fascinated by this. She doesn't even realize Dean Ferris explains the boundaries of the university and how the founding houses work, which is Adane house and Ferris house. She explains that to her. Dean Ferris also explains the relationship between vampires and these families, these active families in this university. They come up on Adane house. Dean Ferris mentions she can't enter houses that are mastered after she mastered her house. And there's a line of girls blindfolded, and they're being, they have like bites on them, bites on their shoulders and stuff. And Dean Ferris is not okay with that because they're not supposed to do that outside of a certain place. You meet Yos's two friends in this chapter, and you also realize that Yos knew who Kidan was before Kidan knew who Yos was. Dean Ferris tells Yos what's going on, and Yos is like, interesting. You don't know nothing about what's going on in here, but you dragged her back in here. So he's like, what do you want? You want money? You want, you know, me? What do you want? What do I have to do? Because obviously you don't want to be here, Kidan. What do I have to do to get you to leave? And Kidan is like, I'm not going anywhere. Yo storms off after talking to Dean Ferris, and Kidan goes in his room. She finds her sister's bracelet, and Yos is like, what are you doing in my room? He notices the bracelet, takes it from her, seemingly confused about it, and leaves out the window, and there goes her proof. All right, bye. Immortal Dark chapters 11 through 20, I think I'm doing. So in chapter 11, Kidan discovers Yos's artifact room and she destroys it. Okay, I'm gonna read y'all what I have for 12. Kidan hears crying from a room. Yos is in the observatory trying to master that room. He tells her that's where his bloodlust is the highest, so she cannot enter that room. Kidan starts hearing and seeing things in Adane house, and Itete tells her that the house echoes a person's mind and it returns what is felt, and different rooms represent different emotions. We'll go into Adane house at some point. To master the house, she must conquer all parts of her mind. Kidan attempts to master the hallway, which is the room where, the place where she will more than likely learn the house law, because that's the place she doesn't want to be at. So that's where the inheritors find the house law, in the room they most likely don't want to be in, or the space they don't want to be in the house. In these few chapters, Kidan meets most of her friend group. Slyn approaches Kidan, and Slyn tells Kidan to bring the Matzabea if she wants her to be part of the group. So Slyn is like basically calling the shots. You kind of learn a little bit about Slyn. I'm going to do a character analysis about Slyn, but Slyn is she has shown Kidan who she is already. Let me just say that without giving everything away. Learn about Matzabeas. I'm going to go into that at some point. Kidan plays Yos the tape. Kidan goes to study for the test they have coming up, and they go to Slyn's house, and she realizes that Slyn's father is abusive. She finds out that Ramen is wanting to do a life exchange because she's dying. They finally take the first formal circle. Kidan figures out that she's supposed to throw Ramen under the bus. Ramen fails, and then Yos figures out that Kidan passes. Yos then wakes Kidan up to scare her with dye. She thinks it's blood. She sets him up. She calls the dean. Dean Ferris comes over, and Kidan has like tipped a chest over on her arm, and tells them that Yost broke her arm. Find out they can't do anything to each other. She can't falsely accuse him without irrefutable proof, or her legal stuff will be taken from her, and her house ownership will be taken from her. And Yost finds out he can't harm her at all, or he will be imprisoned and he will lose his ownership. He'll be stripped of his ownership as well. Anything else is important, I will go into small details at a later time.